Hi, Park family. It's David. Okay, wanted to answer a question here tonight, and this question has to do with bringing things to life in David's Park and in David's City. And the question is, how do we bring the war on doubt, on the devil, the devil's jerks, the devil's church, the devil's dead and evil to life, and how do we bring our enchantment and our entertainment and our illusionment and our showmanship and our workmanship and our rides, thrills, attractions, shells, maps, and just about everything we do in David's Park and City to life. And the answer to that question is that the Holy Ghost and the dead will help us bring everything to life in David's Park and David's City. And the Holy Ghost and the dead, along with what David will call David's Park Turtle. I haven't given the turtle a name just yet, but we'll maybe give the turtle a name eventually. David's Park and David City Turtle will help us discover the Holy Ghost and will help us discover the dead in David's Park and David City, and will help us bring things to life. And so anyhow, I just want to get some of those thoughts on record here tonight, that the Holy Ghost and the dead are what help bring almost everything, if not everything, in David's Park and David City to life. And that is all for tonight on bringing things to life in David's Park and David City, and that the Holy Ghost and the dead are the ones that bring things to life in David's Park and David City. And that's all for tonight. Look forward to talking to you guys again real soon, and I'll talk to you later. All right, good night. Hi, Park family. If you'd like to know what David's Park and David City look like at night when cars drive up and down the streets that go in and out of and surrounding David's Park and David City, this is what it looks like. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Hi, Park family, it's David. Okay, today I spent my time working on developing what I call David's language. And David's language is the language that we speak in David's Park and in David City. And David's language is what's gonna help when we have David's Park and David City built in its entirety. The language in David's Park and David City will help us learn how to war more effectively in the war on doubt, and on the devil and the devil's jerks and evil. And so today, if I were to describe what David's language is like, I would describe David's language as something of a dead-end blend between Lee Harvey Oswald, O.J. Simpson, and Charles Manson. So David's language kind of encompasses those types of linguistics. And I guess on one end of the spectrum it can be really simple, but on the other end of the spectrum it can become very complex. And so to develop David's language in the park and in the city, we need lots of practice with it. And the shells and the maps and the attractions that we create for David's Park and David City will help us to develop our language better. And so that's what I spent some of my time doing today. And I also spent some of my time working on what I call the unintelligence of David and the unintelligence of David's Park and David City and of David's cult. And so sometimes we believe that, or sometimes we think or believe that we need to be intelligent in David's Park and in David's City, when sometimes it's best for us to just be absolutely unintelligent in David's Park and David's City. And when we are proud to be unintelligent, that is a good thing in David's Park and David's City, because it's the unintelligence of David and the unintelligence of David's cult and the unintelligence of David's Park and David's City which allow the Holy Ghost and the Park and City Ghost and the dead to teach us the things that we need to more or less learn about in order to enchant and entertain and have fun and play with our American guests and audiences. And so I also worked on what David will call the American Express component of David's language, and we need to learn to develop it more in David's Park and David's City, and the shells and the maps and the attractions and the thrills and adventures that we work on building every day in David's Park and David's City will help us to develop that language more. So anyhow, I didn't quite develop much on any of the shells or maps today, but I was well pleased with some of the ideas that I received today for additional shells and maps that we might make that might work well with the different months of the year. So like I found some sweetheart things, and I was thinking, well, maybe we could do something in David's Park and David City in the form of a shell or an attraction that might help foster the like what we might call romance or love. We don't use those words very much in David's Park and David City, but we could probably come up with some language in David's language to help describe some of those types of things for the park and for the city. So anyhow, just want to get some of those thoughts on record tonight and look forward to talking to you guys again real soon. All right, talk to you later. Bye. Good morning, Park family. It's David. Okay, today David's going to spend some time working on the not so very good Loveland shell and attraction in David's Park. And David, again, is going to spend the next 5, 7 to 10 years waiting impatiently for the Holy Ghost and for the Park and City Ghosts and for the dead to bring David more and more unintelligence. And so unintelligence is the word I'm going to use to describe unintelligence is the word I'm going to use to describe the type of inspiration and revelation we receive in David's Park and David City. It's just unintelligent inspiration and revelation, and it seems like it takes almost forever to receive it. And then in addition to that, we'll just keep waiting impatiently for unintelligence, and we'll wait impatiently until eternity fails, which may be any day now. So anyhow, just want to get some of those thoughts on video here today, and I look forward to talking to you guys again real soon. All right, bye. Hi, Park family, it's David. Okay, this is David's Park, David City, Chino, California, 91710. Just outside the Carolyn Owens Center location. And I just wanted to get some video of this again. Last night I got some video of this from, a little bit later in the evening. And a train had gone by and all of the cars were backed up. And so in David's Park and David City, as we become more and more unintelligent in the park and in the city. And as the Holy Ghost and the Park and City Ghost and the dead whisper more and more things that make us more and more unintelligent, we may find ourselves becoming less and less interested and less excited, and have less and less opportunities and less impossibilities for having fun or enjoying ourselves in David's Park and David City, and making something in which people might be able to it may not even be possible for people to have fun in David's Park and David City, and it may not even be possible for anybody to enjoy themselves in David's Park and David City. And so these are the types of hell on earth types of things we more or less contemplate all the time in David's Park and David City, and we just contemplate on how many different ways we can strive. I mean, how many different impossibilities are there to take the existing hell on earth in which we are in, and to try to make something like a little bit of heaven in the hell on earth that we're in. And so these are just some of the impossibilities of David's Park and David City. And they're the types of impossibilities that are so stinking impossible that David finds them interesting, and the Kuhn cult finds them interesting, and they may just be worth our time. And so anyhow, I just want to get some of this on video here, and look forward to talking to you guys again real soon. All right, talk to you later. Bye.